Podcast. Hello and welcome to BrewGames Podcast. This is episode 1, titled Hop In. And before we get started here, we're just going to remind you about why we're doing this in case you haven't seen episode 0. First of all, I guess my name is Joe Evans. This is
Adam Eliason.
And we both enjoy video games and beer. So we figured we'd make a podcast discussing both of those things. So the format's going to be, we're going to test some new beers that we've got for each other that we don't think they've had or think they should have, and give our live reviews of those. And then after that, we're going to discuss the games that we've challenged each other to play. And so every episode, we will be reviewing the game that we were challenged to, and then announcing a new challenge. And those games are actually coming from our Steam libraries that are quite extensive and underplayed. So most of the challenges are going to be games that we probably haven't played or maybe played an hour of. And the other person thinks that we should give it a chance and actually put some effort into it and report back on the findings.
All right. So I know it's been more than 2 weeks since our first episode. That's mostly my fault. It's summer. There's a lot to do. And so yeah, let's talk about how we spent the summer inside playing games.
Sounds good.
So the beer I got for Joe this week is the Robo Ruby. It's from Parallel 49 in East Vancouver. There's not a lot of history behind the brewery because they just started in 2012. It was 3 chemical engineers who were into home brewing who decided to open their own brewery with some investors. So it's 9.3% alcohol by volume, and it's got an 86 rating on Beer Advocate. So it's a red IPA. I think you'll like it.
That's a good rating. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't spill on me like the last beer did.
I drove slower this time.
It's got a good aroma already from the bottle. Good color.
Looks quite nice.
It's actually a very, very nice beer. I like how they kind of went with Imperial Red Ale mixed with the IPA, so it's got that good rich maltiness that I really like in beers. It's an interesting punch of hops in there. Not a big hops guy, but
Neither am I.
this hops actually works very nice with the malts. It's very, very enjoyable.
Fantastic. Would you recommend it to someone then?
I'd say whether you're a hop lover or a malty, try it. This will please both palates very well, I think. And it's very deserving of its rating of 85.
Great. I believe it was $6.99 at Co-op if you're looking to get it.
To get a bottle. Pretty good. Yeah, and the beer I got for you is from the Bruery in California. And it's their Trade Winds, which is a triple Belgian-style ale brewed with rice and Thai basil.
Basil?
Yes.
Really?
So I thought that would be pretty interesting for you to give a try. I've had it myself. I think it's very, very good. One of my favorite beers. Yeah, I think I had some notes about the brewery itself. So while you're playing that, the brewery was founded by Patrick Roux in 2008, and the name is a fusion of his family name with the word brewery. So when you're reading the name, it doesn't spell it like the brewery should be spelled out. It's because it's using his last name Roux in there, which is pretty interesting, I think. And this one got 96 points on Rate Beer. and it's a ABV of 8%.
Fantastic.
It's
It's
a lot
nice.
ahead.
It is a lot ahead. It's a really nice golden color, actually. Looks great. So basil, eh? I don't think I've ever had a beer with basil in it.
Yeah.
Let's give this a try. You can definitely taste the basil. A hint of hops. That's another flavor I'm trying to place here.
Is it the rice, maybe?
That's probably the rice.
Yeah.
It's quite enjoyable. To me, it tastes like a European beer more than a beer from California. But
Yeah, it was a Belgian style, so.
that's right. You did say that.
Yeah. So would you recommend it?
I would. It'd be worth a try.
Yeah.
Where did you get it from?
So I got it from Willow Park, and these are a bit more pricey than the Robo Ruby. I believe these were about $12 bottles, so it's pretty pricey. It's not the most expensive one from the brewery. There's another bottle that I was going to get until I saw the price tag of $20.99, and I thought maybe we'll wait on that one.
Maybe we'll share it or something.
Maybe do that on like the 10th episode or something,
Yeah.
like a landmark episode, something like that, to celebrate.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You could almost share this one. It's 750 mils. It's quite large.
Yeah.
8.6%. You're getting your money's worth for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess typically with all the brewery brews, they are what's considered a cellar ale. So they recommend to keep it in a dark, cool place like a cellar, as opposed to refrigerating it or just leaving it in a warm cupboard kind of thing. So something to consider if you are looking to pick up the brewery ales. They are recommended to be in a cellar. I don't have one myself, so I just had it in the fridge, and then I took it out probably about hour and a half before you came by to shoot the podcast. So gave it time to kind of warm up a little bit more than it was because the fridge was pretty cold.
Fantastic. Sounds pretty good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And we're going to go on now to the game section of the podcast. And so for the challenges that was given to us, I was challenged to play Brutal Legend, which is a Tim Schafer game starring Jack Black. And the game I found surprisingly similar to the game I chose for you.
Quite similar, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of kind of combo button action style gameplay, a la Zelda, and the RTS elements were pretty interesting as well. I only got about 2.5, 3 hours into the game. Like you, been very busy, so didn't have a whole lot of time to play, but I got pretty far into it, I think. I got all the way up to the second RTS battle, which was way more ramped up than the first one. I'm surprised how ramped up it got from one to the next one. And ended up getting knocked out and sent back to the respawn point, basically, quite a few times during that battle until I figured out that, well, I do have these wings now. I should probably use them and get out of the way. Which was an issue I had as well with the first boss in the game, the Spider Queen. Trying to get the bass strings. I tried to YOLO it and just beat on her, and then her little minions would come out, and I just try and soak up all the damage, and then I got very close to passing out, which on that one I didn't. I finally started to smarten up and step back or start blocking.
Nice.
And so that battle took a little while to finish because I was doing more of a kiting style gameplay, staying away from all the little critters, and then doing the ground pound kind of thing to disperse them, which worked out pretty good. The other thing that was pretty fun to find was you had mentioned that there's people like Ozzy and Lemmy and stuff, and I got to a relic where it was a big engine, and as I'm doing the little solo thing to open up the relic, I had this feeling that this is probably going to be Aussie for some reason. And then sure enough, you go driving in through the cave, and just everything, the whole ambiance feels like Aussie. Doesn't look like Aussie, just feels like Aussie. So I thought that was really cool how they were able to capture his essence instead of just visually. It was like you just could feel it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And then of course he stands up, turns around, and it is Aussie. And I liked how his character was. You have the TV show that they had, the reality show, and they made him look like such a stupid idiot. But in the game, like just total respect. And I was expecting just to modify my car for guns, performance upgrades. But then there's also you can change your guitar, your axe, give it certain like power ups. You could change your look itself. The one look where he's like got the goth tears and stuff. I was like, no. And you'll see that in the video portion of the podcast. I'll have the overlay of the video of me just being like, no, we're not doing that. But yeah, that was pretty cool that you could change aesthetics as well as actual performance upgrades and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So definitely a game that I want to finish, and I will finish. I'm not going to slack on this one.
Fantastic.
So, how about your game?
I was challenged to play Darksiders. So this is a game that Joe mentioned he had played on Xbox and didn't quite finish, and I can kind of see why you didn't finish it. Because I'll introduce the game first. I guess you play as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You play war, and your job is to maintain the balance between heaven and hell until the apocalypse comes. But someone starts the apocalypse early, and you kind of get blamed for it. So the game is you trying to redeem yourself, prove that it wasn't you, and kind of restore the balance in the meantime. So it's a third-person hack and slash type game, much like Brutal Legend.
Yeah.
They're both kind of set up in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Where it's so they work quite similar. You're fighting zombies, or not zombies, like
kind of like demons.
Demons.
Yeah, demons in both games, right? So
yeah,
things from hell.
So let's start with things I enjoyed about it. I didn't know it had quite the voiceover cast. Your sidekick, the Watcher, is played by Mark Hamill, who of course played the Joker in Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And then you have Troy Baker, who's the new Joker in Arkham Origins and the new one coming out. He also plays the main character Booker in Bioshock Infinite. He plays Joel in The Last of Us. He's in Far Cry 4 coming up. He plays a lot of characters, a lot of big characters. And then Phil Lamar is playing Vulgrim, your shopkeeper. He also plays Hermes in Futurama, if you're a Futurama fan like myself. So, what else? I felt the game was much more linear than Brutal Legend. You don't get a whole lot of room to explore. It's more...
Yeah, it's pretty much a on-rails kind of game.
Yeah, you go down a hallway, cuts to a cutscene of rocks falling down so you can't go backwards, and you go a little further.
Yeah.
Another cutscene of rocks falling down so you can't go forward, can't go backwards. And, yeah. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's quite easy to follow. You can still have a lot of fun hacking things apart. You collect currency, which is souls of the dead in this game, to buy upgrades. But they give you souls for doing pretty much anything. If you like smash a table, you get souls.
Yeah, for doing damage to the environment. You take a car and throw it, and it blows up, and you get some souls out of it. I don't know if there was like souls in the tires or something, but
maybe there were haunted cars.
Maybe it's the souls of the animals from the trees that they cut down for the rubber.
Nice, maybe.
Could be.
So with your souls, you buy new moves to like maximize your combo, kind of like the Batman games, kind of like Zelda, like others. I'll give them a lot of credit on the variation of the game. For a hack and slash, I get bored pretty quickly usually, but there's a lot of variation in the puzzles that you have to solve, in the enemies, in the areas, the bosses. The only repetitive part I found was your finishing move. You only seem to have 2 of them.
Yeah.
You get tired of the same animation
Yeah,
over and
it's too
over.
bad because they keep giving you new combos, but there's not really new finishers. So
No, it's all right though. As for downsides, the game was made for consoles and it really shows. I played it on PC because we're challenging each other to Steam games, of course, and the controls are quite clunky. It's in order to use your mana or rage, as they call it, you have to press caps lock to bring up this sub menu to press another button to
oh
use your
really?
power. There's no hotkeys for those,
Okay.
which is kind of awkward when you're trying to run around, maximize your combos, and then hold caps lock to press 2 or 3 for your move.
Yeah. Did you take a look and see if you could remap keys, or is it kind of like a standard set and that's it?
You can remap them, but still bringing up the sub menu is something I didn't
Just
like.
kind of breaks the flow of the gameplay a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you think it would have been easier if you had a controller?
I believe so.
If you say like maybe like the left bumper would pull up the menu, be a lot easier to kind of
Yeah.
play with that than on the keyboard.
I don't have an Xbox controller to try it, but maybe I will. I haven't finished the game yet, so it might be something to consider. Another part I didn't like is when you're jumping from ledge to ledge, it's kind of not intuitive where he's going to jump. There's quite a few frustrating times where I just inexplicably jumped backwards and landed in lava. Or
Okay. Yeah, I experienced that a little bit in a couple of different areas of the game on the Xbox version.
nothing deal breaking for the game.
We were talking before we shut the podcast. There was the one area you kind of got stuck in and got frustrated with in the cathedral, I believe. Did you make it past that point, or
I did.
Yeah. Okay. So, you want to talk about your experience about the that part where you got frustrated for a while? Like, why were you getting frustrated? You said you couldn't get past a certain point. You couldn't figure out what the platformer puzzle was, and then did you finally figure that out?
I did.
And you don't
I'm
recall
trying
what
to
it
think
was?
of which part it was. No.
Because I remember when you were talking to me about it, I ran into the same problem with the Xbox version, second floor of the cathedral, and it took me forever to figure out what the puzzle was. And then as soon as you figure it out, it's like I don't know if they have some kind of Men in Black style like flash on the screen or something, but I could not remember what it was either. So I wanted to tell you what maybe you could have done, but when we were talking, I had no idea. I was like, I remembered being there and being stuck and getting through it. I have no idea what I did get through.
Yeah. There was a couple where it was definitely not intuitive, and I did look up how to do it, how to do one of the puzzles on the internet,
Okay.
and it was you kind of had to make a chain of bombs along the wall
Okay.
to blow up a point. But I digress. I was probably a few beers in, so
Yeah.
it's
I think if I remember correctly, it kind of hinted at you need to do this thing with the statues, but then to actually get through it was the bomb thing, and it's like there's no hints at all showing you that that's what you need to do. So it's that part what I think was a bit frustrating, but
I did have one hint constantly coming up saying summon the Watcher, your sidekick, if you need a hint. So I would summon him, and he would just say, "Oh, this is a cool place," and didn't provide any hint at all. And as another thing I noticed, your sidekick is Mark Hamill, like I said, voiced by Mark Hamill, but he seems to have the same raspy voice that he used for the Joker.
really,
So
I wonder if they did it on purpose because they wanted that voice.
maybe. All in all, it has the makings of a great game, I think, but the little annoyances made it just a good game rather than a great game. I'd still recommend trying it. I'll probably play through it, and there's a Darksiders 2 that I also own and have never played. I'll probably play through that because of this. I'd say the goods outweigh the bad on this.
Yeah.
Although we may have spent more time on the bad things. It's still fun to play.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna make a third one because number two's been out for quite a while now. Um, I haven't heard anything since number two came out. Number two kind of came out like under the radar, just like, oh yeah, by the way, here's number two, and that's the last I heard of it. I didn't hear about anybody talking about it. Didn't see anybody playing it. I follow quite a few people on YouTube that do playthroughs, and the only blip on the radar was that it released, and that was it. So
Hmm.
I have a feeling that that franchise is killed, which kind of sucks because Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, you can expect at least 4 games,
Yeah.
if not 5, because maybe you have all 4 horsemen come together in the 5th game and just really wreak some fucking havoc.
Yeah. Could
But
also be an interesting co-op thing of
yeah, for sure,
3 friends play with you as each of the
that'd be
horsemen.
awesome.
That would be awesome.
That'd be super cool. Yeah, have all 4 characters played by 4 friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would ever happen.
I don't
Co-op
think so.
games are. They tried to make a resurgence a few years ago, and they kind of did okay. Like there's Army of Two, which the first one was awesome. I think I played through it like 2 or 3 different times.
I played through about half of it.
Yeah.
I didn't have an Xbox, so I just played on my friend's account. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tried playing that game with the AI, terrible. But with my buddy Dano, like we just could not get enough of that game.
that's for the one you go back to back and just start shooting in a circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. We tried playing the second one, and we didn't get very far. But it's a game that him and I are still wanting to eventually get together and finish it, because they actually have 3 games out now.
Really?
The third one's been out for about 2 years now. So you have. I don't know why we're going on this tangent about this game, but yeah, there's the first one, there's the 40 Days, and then there's Devil's Cartel.
It's a podcast about video games. You can talk about other games.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, anything else about Darksiders, or does that kind of wrap it up?
I think that mostly wraps it up.
Yeah. So we'll do our challenges now for the next episode. So the game that I'm going to be challenging Adam to is Duke Nukem Forever.
The infamous Duke Nukem
The
Forever.
infamous Duke Nukem Forever, the game that took forever to come out. It's a game I played myself at launch. I actually dropped down the $60 to play this game day one, and I played it for probably 3-4 hours till I got to a point where I don't know if the nostalgia and the hype like just totally burnt out. Finally getting to play this game and then like kind of trudging through it and being like, okay, I've had enough, or if this level was just so stupid that it made me not want to play anymore. But I haven't touched it since launch, and it'd be interesting to see how far you make it through the game, because this is a game that's notoriously been reviewed mediocre to poorly. Just the game had way too much hype. It's been hyped for like 15 years or something until it finally came out, and it changed hands. How many times? Like 5-6 times. Like it changed hands. Like people trying to like save this project from like just disappearing into vaporware, and it finally came out, and
It was terrible, apparently.
terrible. Apparently, like when I first got in, it felt good. It felt like Duke 3D all over again. But it started to fairly quickly lose its luster. So it'd be interesting to see how far you make it into it, and then I think we should maybe try and do some deathmatch
Sure.
in the game. Because actually, I just logged into it the other day, and so now it shows that I recently played Duke Nukem Forever, which I find a little bit embarrassing. But I just want to see if there was a multiplayer or not, because I couldn't remember at launch if I looked for that option or not. I think I just went straight to campaign and wanted to like see what kind of story, as ridiculous it could be, how ridiculous it would be. So yeah, I think deathmatch after you play the game through. If we have time before the next episode, maybe get some footage of that
Sure.
for you guys to watch and laugh at us how bad we are.
It'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I remember paying $30 for Duke Nukem Forever. I don't know how I got Darksiders or Darksiders 2, but I remember paying $30 for Duke Nukem Forever. The first sale it went on. And yeah, haven't played it. So I really should try to get my money's worth out of it. So I look forward to it.
Good.
The game I have chosen for you was not nearly, didn't get nearly as many bad reviews. It's Alan Wake, which is a survival horror psychological action thriller, apparently. I haven't played this game, but I heard a lot of good things when it came out. The description I got from the cover is it's about Alan trying to find out why his wife disappeared, where she went. And as he goes through, he finds he's experiencing the events from one of his books because he's a writer. The only thing is he doesn't remember writing this book, so he doesn't know what happens. I also have this game. It's in my unplayed list, so if you like it, maybe I'll have to play it myself. So I look forward to the
It's
review.
funny that you picked Alan Wake because it was a toss up for me going through your list. Alan Wake was my first choice, and then I saw Duke Nukem Forever. So I was like, I had no idea if you had ever played any kind of horror survival games like Alan Wake or Silent Hill or like the first Resident Evils. Um, but I knew for sure that you would have played Duke 3D back in the day, so I was
Yep,
like, I'm gonna pick Duke. But yeah, it's interesting that we almost would have had the exact same game to play.
that would have been funny. Apparently, we think alike because
Yeah,
the first games we picked for each other were
similar
similar, and we almost
style, and
picked the
then
same game for
yeah,
this one. That's good.
yeah.
I hope you like it.
No, hopefully. I remember back in like the PS1 days, tried to play Silent Hill, didn't like it. Tried to play Resident Evil 1, didn't like it. So I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the genre, but I saw all the reviews when Alan Wake first came out, and everything was like gleaming,
Yeah,
like super good game. I have almost no exposure to it. I think I've seen the first maybe 15 minutes of the game, just from watching YouTubers, and then I didn't bother watching the rest of their videos. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the game. Should be fun.
survival horror is kind of like a genre that I seem to never finish.
Yeah,
Like most games I start, I try to finish, but I mean, I played Condemned on the Xbox, didn't finish that. Played the first Silent Hill, didn't finish that.
yeah.
Resident Evil 2, I think I played, didn't beat it. Yeah,
Did you get fairly far in it though, or did you kind of like get maybe quarter to halfway and then just stopped?
probably quarter to halfway.
Yeah,
But yeah, not my style. I don't know.
that's further than I got in those games. So, but I'm up for the challenge, so we'll do that.
Excellent.
Okay. I think we are now going to be going on to the mailbag section, and we've been asking you guys email us on Gmail, Twitter us. Haven't really been having any responses, but both of us have been talking to friends, and they're showing great interest in wanting to be guests on the show. And this is something that we discussed before even shooting episode 0. That in the future we'd like to maybe toy with the idea of bringing guests on.
Had a couple
And
people ask me actually.
yeah, so there's actually a good response and demand for people that we know that want to be a guest on the show, and the structure for that's going to be they would be on 2 episodes. They'd be on one episode. They'd come in, be kind of semi-involved in the episode, only to be challenged to something, and maybe we'll make it so that they, instead of us picking a game for each other, the guest would pick a game for both of us.
Oh, that would be good.
And so the guest would give us a challenge, and then we would agree on a challenge for them. And then the next episode, they'd come back with their footage. We come back with our footage and reviews and discuss that. And then another guest, maybe a few more episodes down the road. I don't know if we want to do back to back guests.
Probably
Unless
not,
it ends
but
up being something that
people really like.
works really well
Yeah.
for both us or them. I don't know if that quit recording or not. Let me check that.
Is it plugged in? We think our camera stopped working. You guys don't really want to look at us, anyways. You can just listen.
So as I was saying, having guests back to back may or may not work depending on if that is what people like, if that works for us. So that's definitely something we'll consider.
Play
We're not going
around
to say
with.
no to that.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it works. If it does, we'll do it. In the meantime, if you do guys have questions, comments, suggestions, for beers, for video games, anything like that.
Anything about the show, even.
Yeah, anything about the show. Email us, brewsandgames@gmail.com, Twitter @brewsandgames.com. Our own Twitters, I'm @jevans.
And I'm at Alpha Drake.
And yeah, looking forward to hearing from you so that we could, interact with you guys, have some content on the show here for you to, find out what other people are saying and, build a community.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed listening or watching this, be sure to share it around with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, or just tell people in person, let them know about the show.
Yep.
That about wraps it up?
I think it does. Yeah.
Okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
And until next time.
Until next time. See you guys.